Now, bringing you the very best in New Hampshire-based local music on IPMNation.com and 100.1 The Planet, this is Local Outbreak. That is the new single from The Forest Forgets. That is called With Grace, and we're going to talk to these guys. The Forest Forgets. I'll bring those mics up. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's start with we'll start with you, sir, in the corner. If you could tell us who you are and what you do in the band.
James, and I play the drums in the band.
Hi, James. And you?
I'm Brennan, and I play bass.
Brennan?
Yep.
Oh, how do you spell that?
Brennan.
Do people often think that do people call you Brandon? I figured.
or I get Brent.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
Name too quickly,
Which is crazy.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. And you, sir?
And I'm Brandon, not Brennan.
Right.
And I play guitar in the band.
Okay. And you? Griffin, I apologize. Let me pull that mic up a little bit more. You're on the weird mic. Go ahead and talk.
Hello.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
there
my name's Griffin, and I sing.
Now we can hear your dulcet tones. Yes, very good, very good. Well, welcome, guys. Now, of course, some of you have been on the show before because there was a previous band, After Image. And how many of you were in After Image? Was it 3 of you or?
Yeah, it was three of us.
3 of you, okay. And then so out of that came The Forest Forgets. Now, how long has The Forest Forgets existed?
Since October
8
of
months,
last
maybe
year?
9 months.
Okay.
Oh, it's been longer than that. Yeah, I guess almost a year.
It's been a while, yeah.
Since October, I believe, or November.
So this is pretty new, and for people watching online, of course, we'll take a picture afterward. But you guys brought me a copy of the new EP.
Mm-hmm.
So very nice, Of Wind and Willow. And let's start with the obvious question. So where does the name come from? The Forest Forgets.
I think it was based off of like where we're from as a state. We wanted like a nature theme. So like being in New Hampshire, the White Mountains, the forest, and everything around us.
Yeah.
I think kind of an interesting thing about bands is like regionality, and with that comes like sound and expectations.
Yeah.
So you think about California, there's like a sound.
Right,
You think about
right.
Nashville, there's a sound. You think about Boston, there's like a punk scene, there's a sound.
Yeah.
And you think of New Hampshire, I think it's very vague. But I think there's a lot to tap into.
Yeah.
Especially for like the genre that we're trying to do, like a more slower ambient post-metal sound.
Mm-hmm.
So it came from that, like having that nature theme. But The Forest Forgets itself, James came up with that. It's from a saying. Do you remember the saying?
Yeah, the saying is the axe forgets, but the tree remembers.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But it's just kind of, it was more of a statement about like, I don't know, passage of time, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a trope in media and like post-apocalyptic or like where humanity's gone, like nature kind of overtakes human construction, like cities become forests again after a long time.
Okay.
So it's like, do what you can while you're here, but in the end, eventually, everything kind of goes back to where it came.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. No, I like that. And I noticed too, with the imagery, looking at pictures of you guys online and such, it's you really kind of bring that theme, the forest theme, into everything. Everything's kind of dark, it's actually hard. And it's not a complaint. It's a cool thing, but it's hard to find a picture of you guys. Maybe there, as a band, maybe there are some that I just didn't see where it's like bright and you can clearly see everybody. It's like you kind of you've kind of done this mysterious thing that I think is cool.
Yeah, a lot of that was Victoria Comerford. Her hit Brandon's girlfriend.
Okay.
She does a lot of favors for us coming out and doing photography.
Oh, very
Pretty
cool.
much all of our photography.
Yeah, pretty much everything we posted.
Yeah.
About.
Is that going to be the theme going forward? Like, do you think you're going to stick with that, or maybe it'll evolve over time, or I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's kind of a cool thing, a little bit of mystery, and
I'm sure it'll have its own sort of evolution as things go on, but I think that's kind of the gist of the vibe we're going for, I guess.
Yeah. No, I like the mystique of it. Now, the songs from After Image, have any of those carried over into The Forest Forgets, or is this all new, or what's been your approach as far as that?
It's all new stuff. We wanted to just do something like kind of like from scratch. Like, a whole new sound and interpretation of like instruments and what we can do with them. So, and I think the biggest thing with that is we've changed the tunings. I think we mostly play in like drop C now.
Okay.
Instead of like standard tuning. So
it's
a lot lower and heavier and aggressive, I guess.
Yeah, I like it. And Jenny was commenting too how much she loves your guitar playing, and it's it got a very distinctive kind of sound and vibe to it,
which is really cool. That's like one of my favorite comments.
Yeah,
compliments. Yeah.
Very nice. And you've got Excuse me. I promise I'm not sick. I was sick, but I've got that lingering. You know, you get that lingering cough. It sucks.
Yep.
So the video. Now, tell us about the video for With Grace, because that's pretty. It's kind of heavy. It's got a heavy theme to it.
That was kind of Griffin's baby.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Pretty much it was reactionary to what was going on with my grandparents passing away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to kind of create like an external expression of that weird sense of grief you get when you watch two loved ones kind of fall apart in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it felt really cathartic to do so.
Yeah.
And from what I've been told, I think it articulates and translates very well for people that watch it.
Yeah.
But
I agree. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, it just felt like, honestly, like kind of lightning in a bottle, like how it all came out. It was very, because it was all guerrilla filmmaking.
Yeah.
Like Dylan Williams came out, and we have a friend that owns an island, so he just came out on a boat and like filmed me dressed up as an old man, and
Yep.
he just pieced it together, and yeah.
How long did it take? Was that all done in one day, or because there's a lot to it?
That was 2 days of shooting. The first day was like 12 hours, and the second day was an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
Yeah, it was a pretty daunting task that first day. A lot of coordination, especially with like the makeup, and like I had to shave my face. and
Yep.
Victoria Comerford also did the makeup for my face as well. To,
Excellent.
Like, ageify me and make it be more believable.
Right.
And I think it worked, because I've had a couple people ask me, they're like, "Is that you? Are you the old man?"
Yeah.
'Cause it looks so different.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Really?
Watching it, I wasn't sure. I thought so, but I wasn't sure.
That's awesome.
Me
Yeah.
neither.
Yeah.
Me neither. I wasn't.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, that was really well done. Is that what the song is about too?
One of the interpretations, yeah. I don't. It's hard, because like my mom had when I showed her, she had a very specific interpretation of it, and I kind of felt like I didn't want to like take that away from her by giving
Right.
her my version of it.
Right.
But for me, that song was written to my fiance. It's a love song. I
Okay.
guess. Yeah.
Okay.
About her being really tough on herself. So
Yeah.
I wanted to like give her a little love letter and say, "Stop it.
Yeah.
Life's gonna be okay."
Right. Right. That's Yeah. No, that's cool. And that's the thing too about music is, everybody can kind of take it and interpret it however they want. And it's I've always thought it's interesting, for me, and I don't know, Jenny might be able to relate to this too, as Gen Xers. We grew up in a time where a lot of the music that was popular, there was no room for interpretation.
Yeah.
Like, my all-time favorite band is Kiss. But when you listen to a Kiss song, there's no misunderstanding what they're talking about, But there are a couple of exceptions to that, but generally, there's no misunderstanding. But I remember really finding it fascinating in the 90s when the grunge era started, that, and a lot of these bands like Pearl Jam, for example, it's like you listen to the lyrics, and it's like I just remember having conversations with friends about, well, I think the song means this, or this is what it means to me, and different people bringing different interpretations to it. And ever since then, I've always been fascinated by the way that I don't know if any of you have ever experienced this, but if you ever you listen to a song, you hear the lyrics, or maybe you look up the lyrics, and they mean something to you, and then you read an interview with whoever wrote the song, and they say it means something completely different than what your interpretation was. And then there's that little part of you that goes, oh, you know what I mean? And in the end, it doesn't matter, because it's art and it's subjective, and it means to you whatever it means to you. But I've experienced that too, that feeling of, oh, it means that? I thought it meant this other thing.
It can kind of take away like the engagement for the listener.
Yeah.
Like my personal experience that gave the song that weight, it's like you can still apply it, but now you know the direct intention.
Right.
So you can't invest as much of yourself into it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Is that, are all of your songs kind of like that, where you can, sort of interpret them different ways? I mean, that's my impression of your music. It's like you can really kind of read into it whatever you want to. And
yeah, I would say, I think that's one of Griffin's strong points, is his lyricism has always been really thought-provoking.
Yeah.
And it's not kind of laid. It's not laid out in front of you. You do kind of have to give it a couple listens, and,
Right.
And, digest it. And
Yeah.
so I think it carries through most of the songs.
Yeah. Yeah. Outstanding. Now, what is the writing? So, Griffin, do you write all the lyrics or?
Lyrics, yeah.
Yeah.
Just about. I mean, I'm terrible at grammar.
Yeah.
Terrible at it.
Are you? Yeah.
So bad. Yeah. So James is like my retroactive editor.
Okay.
He'll come in like, this word doesn't make any sense. And then I'll like go to Google and be like, it makes sense here.
Right.
So
Right.
it is a collaborative effort. And
Yeah.
like I print out all the lyrics and I let them read it because I want them to kind of get in that space with me when I go to record.
Yeah.
But it is collaborative. I'd say James definitely steps up to the plate a lot and kind of like helps me find what I'm trying to hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then do the lyrics come first and then the music, or?
No.
Okay.
It's all music.
Okay.
It's very reactive to the music.
Okay.
That's not really learned. I guess it's more so just habitual over time.
Yeah.
So
it becomes instinctive. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like writing slam poetry and then trying to like shove that onto a song, it can
Yes.
be very clunky.
Right.
So I try to base it around the song itself.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And then, so how does the music come about? What's the process there?
There's a couple different ways. I think for With Grace, it was actually a song that James programmed in, was it like Ableton? And it sounded completely different than what it ended as, but he brought that idea to us and we took all the parts we liked and then kind of added what we could to make it sound more like the other stuff we had written.
Yeah.
But I think, was it the other three were pretty much just us jamming on
Yeah,
whatever we could come up with. And
Yeah.
then taking the parts we liked, what we started doing was we record every practice, so we would have like a couple hour jam session or something, and then it was usually Griffin was the ringleader and listening back to it and like grabbing little clips and timestamps and saying, I think this would be cool with like minute 50 of this jam going into like the first minute of like the second jam or whatever. And it was just kind of like pieced together that way.
Yeah.
Well, such a new band, you got to like learn how to engage with each other and interact with each other. I think it was very helpful for someone to kind of like get that ball rolling.
Right.
Because we're writing new stuff now, and it's not like that at all. It's very
Really?
yeah. It's very like, let's sit in the space, let's build this song together.
Okay.
There really is no like head orchestrator.
Yeah.
Now it's all like 100% collaborative. But the EP, we were also new to each other.
Yeah.
Well,
Well-
we're also new to the band.
Right,
The
right,
band
yeah,
dynamic, that I think it made it easier and more concise for one person to kind of like lead the ship
Yeah.
in regard. So James coming in with pretty much With Grace road mapped out, it was very helpful. And I think I kind of did that role too with like the other songs, just kind of like orchestrating stuff. But now it feels very collaborative.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Cool. Very cool. Where do you guys record? Because everything sounds amazing.
We record over at Blackheart Studios.
Yes.
Which I work there with Eric.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, infrequently. But yeah, we went there and we did, what was it, like 2 days for instruments and then like another day for vocals. But yeah, I love that. I love that space. So it feels like, it almost feels like a home away from home, how much time I've spent there.
No kidding.
And
Yeah.
the familiarity with everything just made everything super easy for me to like engineer and get us going as quickly as possible.
Yeah. We had Eric on the show a number of months ago, and it was great to finally have him on because, I kept telling him, dude, your name comes up all the time on my show. We got to get you on. Yeah. So, yeah, and that was, so you work there with him?
Yeah, usually what ends up happening is if he's busy doing something, I'll come in and I'll do like the recording for the most part.
Okay.
For, the stuff that he'll end up mixing and mastering. But
Oh,
there's been a couple projects I've done mastering and mixing on for him, like Dead Harrison. I think we mentioned that earlier.
We were talking about that off air.
Yeah.
Yeah, our friends Dead Harrison. Yeah.
Which they were a lot of fun to work with.
Yeah. No, they're great. Yeah, I've known them forever, and yeah, we often play their. Well, they've been on the show a bunch of times, and of course, and they're also a part of the Midnight Creatives Collective and Terminus Underground in Nashua, and yeah, I love that song Terror Grinder. I love that song.
That one and Monolith Lord, I think that was my favorite off of that.
Yeah. No, those are great. Those are great.
I was lucky enough to have my paintings on display there last month, and there's a cool video of them. It was all of my darkest paintings, and there's this cool video with Dead Harrison playing in the background because their practice room was right on the other side of the wall. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, we should let's play another studio track from the new release. But I will. I'll let you guys pick. What should we? Where should we go next?
Brennan, you pick.
Probably Peel Back.
Peel Back. Okay. And why do you choose this one? Is there any particular reason, or is there a story about the song we should know? Or
It's my personal favorite. But apart from that, it's just the first track on the EP as well.
oh, okay.
I think it was like it was between that and With Grace for a single. I
Yeah,
think,
we
for a while.
were debating it for a long time.
Oh, okay. Oh, excuse me. I apologize for my voice. Yeah, so I'll hurry up and get to the track so I can clear my throat. All right, here we go. This is Feel Back. Oh, that is so good. That is Peel Back. The band is the Forest Forgets, and we have the Forest Forgets here with us live in studio this morning. And what a great track. And yeah, that's a perfect opener for the EP. That is absolutely fantastic. So I can see why you guys went with that. Yeah, it grabs you right away.
Love. Well, I love all of them.
Yeah. No, that is so good. And that solo at the end, man.
Right?
That's really, really good. Really good. Yeah, if you are just joining us, of course, we do have the Forest Forgets here with us live in studio. And now, do you guys plan to, are you going to be recording more soon, or are you just kind of, I mean, obviously this has been out for a relatively short time, right? The new EP?
Well, the first single dropped Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so very new.
Yeah, and then the EP actually fully releases next Friday. So
Okay.
this is like a little teaser for everybody.
Oh,
that
very good.
Oh,
cares
wait.
to listen, you know what I mean?
Exclusive.
Yeah.
Is this a world premiere on radio?
Yes.
Very good.
That, technically.
We do love the world radio premieres here on the show, so that's wonderful. Are you guys already writing stuff? Because you strike me as you probably write a lot. I'm guessing you've got a lot of tunes. Yeah.
We have a lot of ideas.
We have a lot of
ideas.
We have a lot
The
of
songs keep
pieces.
getting longer.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Less and less digestible is the plan.
Yeah.
we have like
yeah.
16 minutes worth of music, but it's 2 songs. now.
Right.
So, in terms of like going back to record, I think we're probably not going to go back for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like a year, 8 months. I was actually just talking to the guys about it in the group chat yesterday. I feel like an EP has like 8 months worth of legs until people are like, okay. So our main goal right now is to play out, start playing some shows,
Yeah.
develop a live set, get in that space consistently. And
Yeah.
I
Now
think
that we can show
once
people
we start,
what we're playing.
what?
Now that we can show people what we're playing.
Yeah. Now that people know what we sound like.
Right,
Besides
right.
demos on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
But for the newer material that we are working on, I definitely want to approach it from a live setting. And like, with Brandon's mixing, the whole goal was like live. Like,
Yeah.
This is how we sound live.
Yeah.
So
So you guys haven't played out yet, or?
we've played, what, 3 shows? 2
Oh,
shows?
okay. So you've done it.
3
Done a
shows.
few, yeah.
3 shows in 9 months.
Okay.
It's been pretty sparse, but nobody knows what we sound like.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So this is all new. And what went into the decision to do an EP? Because a lot of the guests that we have on the show, they approach it different ways. You can do an EP, you can do a full album, you can do. Some people now they just release a series of singles that eventually become an album. What went into that decision to do an EP?
I think it was just like we wanted to get stuff out quickly,
Yeah.
and we didn't want to have 8 or 10 tracks to put on an album.
Right.
And we didn't want to have as little as a single
Yeah.
because we had a lot of stuff working.
Yeah.
That had a consistent sound.
Yeah, the songs together work well. I can see why you would want to put them together instead of just putting them out as singles necessarily.
Yeah, it's a very consistent project, I think.
Yeah, definitely. No, that makes a lot of sense. Do you have another video that you're working on, or I know this one again. I know With Grace just came out, but
No. That last one was a tour de force
yeah,
on all fronts.
Yeah.
So I felt like for an EP, like, here's a 9-minute short film. That I was talking to the guys the other day about maybe doing something a little bit smaller in scale for like another single.
right.
But as of right now, it's just With Grace. We kind of felt like that was like a statement piece. Come out with a bang.
Yeah.
Here's a concept. It's all cohesive. It all ties in.
Yep.
And again, legs. Like, it's got 4 songs. Here's a 9-minute video.
Yep.
So if I were to do another, that'd be like 15 minutes for a 25-minute EP.
Right,
It feels
right.
a little crazy, but we do have more content about how we made the EP and like behind the scenes on the video itself.
Yeah.
Because we still want to like give people something to engage with, but in terms of like artistic expression through the form of a music video, I think that's probably going to be it for now.
Yeah.
I think now the direction is just let's play live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. And then what was the? So what do you have? Like, do you have shows coming up? Do you have some shows booked, or?
I think we have 2 shows booked in December.
Okay.
I think you know more details about those than I do.
All I know is that they're more than likely happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nothing to announce yet necessarily.
With
Yeah,
the single dropping, we've had a lot of people reach out and they're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
let's play a show." So
Yeah.
it's kind of naturally occurring.
No, I'm curious to see you guys live.
Big time. Me too.
Absolutely. We should also talk about too. So I don't know that we'll necessarily play it, but there's a track on here that's that is different than the others. The Catching the Big Fish in the Vast Purple Sea, and that's kind of an ambient. There's no lyrics in that, correct? From what I recall,
No, that's it's all guitar.
Yeah. Oh, it's all guitar.
And, sound sources that I found and recorded. I think my favorite sound that I put in there is my drying machine.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I think I had like my drying machine in my apartment.
Yeah.
I had it was like a pair of pants and coins in there, and it was just making this funny sound.
Yeah.
And I recorded it one day, and then I was mixing it, and I was like, I think that'd be fun to throw in there.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, that's just ambient guitar. It was something I think Griffin had me do for our first video.
First, we do a YouTube series called Roots Remain. It's
Oh.
just kind of like about us as a band.
Yeah.
It's all self-produced. It's, I wouldn't expect much from it. But I was like, hey, can you just like make this ambient guitar track just so I have some space to fill?
Yeah.
And then
I think I did it at the practice space, and we all kind of liked the vibe of it. And
Yeah.
the first show we played, we in the middle of the set we just stopped and I like sat on the ground and just played ambient guitar for what, like 5
minutes?
Oh, really?
Trying to
Yeah.
fill
Yeah.
a set.
Yeah.
I think that's where
And
it
then
came from.
I don't know, I really liked it, and I wanted to have it on the EP. So when it was like almost a complete afterthought in the studio, like we were all wrapped up, and I was like, wait, I got one more thing to do. And it was just like one take of improv guitar with layers of reverb.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's one of those songs, feeling it as opposed to listening to it, like live, feeling all that running around you is
Right.
very transcendental, I guess I would say. I don't know if that's the word, James, but I'm trying.
No, that was a good
Transcendental's
word.
great
That was a big
Yeah.
word.
Because I got the name actually from, it's a quote from the filmmaker David Lynch. The way he approaches making films is he'll do transcendental meditation. And
Oh.
he thinks of himself fishing for ideas in like a large purple ocean.
I didn't know that about David Lynch, but if you told me guess a director who approaches it this way, I would
It was
probably
definitely
guess
David
that it was David Lynch. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Well, let's. The time goes so quick. Let's. I want to make sure we get the rest of these in. Let's listen to Disintegrate.
Sure.
You guys were kind enough to provide a radio edit, so appreciate that. But no, this is another great track. I really love this a lot. If you are just joining us, we have the Forgwts here with us live in studio, and here's another track from their new EP, and this track is called Disintegrate. Check it out.
All I did in this life I thought
That is Disintegrate, and the band is The Forest Forgets. And we have The Forest Forgets here with us live in studio. And we were talking off air. Griffin, you were saying that song has your favorite scream on the EP in it.
Yep. That last one at the end, the high one.
Yeah.
Felt very Chino, Deftones kind of.
Yep.
Like those whistle note screams he does.
Yeah.
It's just satisfying.
I'm always impressed by that when I hear a vocalist who can do that. Do you do anything to kind of, like, do you have to do anything to really take care of your throat to pull that off without, without damaging your vocal cords? Like most people, if they just said, "Oh, I'm going to do that," they'd end up harming their throat. How do you approach that?
Technique and balance, I guess.
Yeah.
Like balance of pressure and diaphragm and whatnot.
Yeah, you
don't push that hard to get those sounds.
Yeah.
It's more the technique and mic. The mic does a lot of the work. If I were to do that in the room, it would sound pretty different.
Yeah.
The compression and everything. I think that's a big thing when, especially when I was first starting out. I was like, how do I get this to sound like that? Well, there's a lot of tricks that go into it.
Right.
That big bands can do consistently that you can't really do in a basement in Nashua.
Yeah. So if you learn to do it correctly, you can do it without hurting yourself. And
Yeah. I mean, any great technique, you do something every day. You could have the best technique in the world, but as far as I can tell, big bands that have to tour 200 days out of the year, it doesn't really matter how good your technique is because you're going to get hurt after a while. Or things are going to wear down.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. Has that always been your approach vocally to mix it, the singing with the aggressive, the screams and all that?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
First starting out, I didn't really know how to do anything.
Yeah.
And then I found bands like Tool, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do that like bark yell he does.
Yeah.
And then I found Deftones. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to start doing that. And then we've been listening to this band Sumac, which is
I don't know that.
the band ISIS. The band ISIS.
Yes, I did. Right. Yeah.
Aaron Turner. He does
Yeah.
all the low, like false chord guttural stuff.
Okay.
I've kind of been on that kick.
Yeah.
I just kind of pick things I like and see if I can do them in my own way, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Oh, there's a song too that which was the song we played earlier that James you do some of the harmony because I think we talked about that off air.
With Grace.
Yeah. Oh, with Grace. Yeah. So you're on that too vocally with
just the last chorus. I kind of, or no, I'm in both choruses.
both
you're-
choruses.
Yeah.
The last one,
It has
that
a
really
hidden third harmony in the last chorus.
Yeah. Kind of adds some texture to it. Is it just on that track? Is that the only one where you've got a vocal?
Yes.
Yeah. Will you be doing that live too? Like when you guys play that live, will you be?
We've been feeling it out in the practice space. I think we started doing that after we were in the studio just
Yeah.
to see how it would be. So there's a chance eventually that I might start doing some of the harmonies, even the harmonies that Griffin was doing. But that's a little touch and go right now. I don't know if we're going to end up there.
Yeah. It might be tricky to pull off. But yeah, it's funny too. You guys were talking about Morgan Storage. You have a practice space there, and it's funny. I was remembering I was in some bands that had rehearsal space there, and the pain of when you're trying to do something and you got a band right next door who's very loud. And I was there actually a couple of weeks ago. I went to meet with I don't know if you guys know the band Day to Attend. But I was in their practice space, and I swear it was so familiar that I think it might have been the same room, one of the rooms that I had there years ago. But yeah, they were talking about that too, how sometimes it's such a challenge because there's so many bands in there, and if you've got somebody right next door to you who's loud or, I know there's, I don't know if there's any recording studios currently in there. I know there has been in the past, and I don't even know how they managed to do it, even with a lot of soundproofing,
Yeah.
There's
I'm
a
not sure.
lot of bands over there right now. I'd be
Yeah.
surprised if anybody's trying to record anything.
Yeah.
would be a nightmare.
Yeah. No doubt. Do you guys, I assume you rehearse on a pretty consistent basis because your music is, it's complex. It's not, it's not like a 3-chord thing that you can just pick up every few weeks, right? You guys must probably every week, I would think.
For the past 8 months, we were doing 3 nights a week
Yeah, that's good.
just to get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And then with the EP out, we're dropping it down to 2 nights a week.
Yeah.
It's like a long day on Sundays and
Yeah.
like a 2.5 hour thing on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Like a writing day and then like a rehearsing day, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I would imagine with what you're doing, if you take too much time off, it's probably hard to really,
Yeah.
You don't
You
want to
lose it a
lose.
little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were
Especially with the
mixing-
writing process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Like you got to be in that headspace consistently.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Do you guys do any covers or strictly original? Or when you are playing out on a regular basis, will you be doing strictly originals? Do you think, or
Probably.
I think
Yeah.
strictly originals. We tried playing a couple covers the first couple practices when we first got together.
yeah?
But I mean, that was back in November. The last time we played a cover song was back in November. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be all originals.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Before we run out of time, because I do want to make sure we get this last track in. Let's see. We haven't played Chemo yet. And I'm curious to ask you too, because we're going to play it with a name like that. Is there a story behind this song?
I read a couple years ago that like every 7 years, every cell on your body has regenerated, so you're like not the same person. It's like that paradox of like the ship you replace every board is it the same ship.
Right.
So if you've like been through experiences in the past that kind of leave a sour taste in your mouth, there's the reassurance that like there will be a version of you that hasn't been like touched.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what the song is about,
I'd say.
effectively. Yeah. Yeah, I've read that too, actually. Yeah. No, it's interesting. So we'll listen to that in a moment when we close out the segment. But the other thing too, I want to make sure that people know where to find you guys online, where's the best place to go, how they can keep up with everything that you're doing, how they can get the music. Is this refresh my memory? This isn't quite out yet, available as a full EP yet online?
Not on
correct?
streaming, no.
Okay.
You can pick up physical copies at the Music Connection in Manchester.
Oh, excellent.
There's a couple copies there. Yeah.
And I think we're going to get them over to Bull Moose
Good.
eventually
Yep, that's
because
the
they
plan.
have a new one in, I don't remember where. They closed the one in Salem. They moved it to somewhere else.
I was going to say, yeah, they just moved, right? The Salem one. Yeah. Yeah.
Newberry Comics eventually too.
Good.
We got to talk to them. We got to figure that out though.
Yeah, the full
Yeah.
EP drops on the 27th,
That's correct.
Okay.
and it'll be available on all the major streaming websites. We have Bandcamp, Spotify, iTunes,
Yeah.
Deezer, whatever.
These are yeah.
Oh yeah,
Deezer's the most important.
Deezer. Yeah.
They've been trying.
I found Deezer by accident. I was Googling one, every once in a while I'll just Google Matt Connarton Unleashed to see if there's anything about the show. Like if the show is, sometimes the show shows up places I don't know about.
Yeah.
That's literally how I found out about Deezer.
Yep.
I Googled the show one day and a link to Deezer pops up and I'm like, oh, my show is on Deezer. And I had no idea. But which is fine. It's great, if somebody finds it that way. But no, it's cool too that you're doing physical copies because not everyone does. Although I feel like lately most of the guests that we've had on do physical copies. It seems like I feel like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, like there was a space of time where a lot of people were just kind of like, do we really need to do physical copies? Everything's digital now. But I think it kind of came back. People still like to have something they can, especially with, I don't know if you guys have any plans to do vinyl in the future, but it seems like vinyl now, a lot of our guests, it's expensive to do it, but they'll do vinyl, which is really just for the diehards. Cause I think most people, if they buy vinyl, they probably never even open it. They just want to have it because if you really if you're a big fan of that artist, it's cool to have it, but to actually have a record player and then open the vinyl up and put it on, it's probably not something people do, but it's cool to have.
Brandon's the exception to that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not a record
No, he's
player.
got a huge
He's got
vinyl.
Oh, no kidding.
We
Yeah.
actually just
old
spent
school.
all last night just flipping through the
Oh, no
collection and
kidding.
putting on different things. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I'd love to have a vinyl of our stuff, but as
Yeah.
you said, it's ridiculously expensive.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, someday.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to sell a lot of them to recoup the cost of it. That's for sure.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, but I think it's cool that you have a physical CD, and I appreciate you bringing that in.
Of course.
Absolutely. We do have a CD player here. I never use it, but I think the only one that uses it is Rob Azevedo. He does a show here on Friday nights at 6 called Granite State of Mind. I don't know if you know Rob. He also interviews local artists, but he actually uses the CD player. I think I used it once. It does work, but but I don't even have one. I don't have one at home. We're right, Jenny. You don't have anything to play.
I do not.
I have my old Mac that'll play CDs.
That's the one we use.
Yeah. But it's good to have. It's good to have, and of course, if you have an older car too, CD players still exist in older vehicles. But so we will, and of course, you guys are very easy to find if you Google the Forest Forgets. Whoop,
We're the only
There's
one.
not a lot of content. for
Right,
that.
right. Which is good. Good to pick a name that you know you're not going to be fighting anybody over.
Exactly.
No, but I really appreciate you guys coming in. We'll definitely have to do this again in the future. And thank you, all four of you. And we will close out the segment with this, another great track. And I should mention, too, the name of the EP, Of Wind and Willow. Any particular meaning to the name of the EP, by the way?
No, it just felt like a cool visual.
Yeah.
You know, the sound of music when she's like standing
Yeah.
on the grass and it's like a knoll blowing.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
Kinda, I guess in my mind, it's where I wanted my grandparents to go.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, very nice. All right, so we will close with this track. Guys, thank you again. And
Thank you very much.
here it is, The Forest Forgets, Schema.